Reforger players, what is going on? So if you've just downloaded the W.C.S mods, jumped on a server and you're thinking, I have no idea what I need to do, how to play, how to set up a loadout, all that sort of stuff, and you're kind of lost, keep watching. This video should help you out. So I'm going to go over just a few basic tips that should help you slot into the server nice and easy, and you will start enjoying it a little bit more. So right in front of me are actually the arsenals, and this is what the construction looks like. So on the left we've got our weapons arsenal, and on the right we've got our equipment arsenal. Now if we head over to the weapons arsenal and click F, we can actually see a big selection of weapon systems. Now, depending on which one you choose, make sure, and now this bit is very important, that you actually get the correct magazines and ammunition for it. Because again, you have got a lot of different magazines here, a lot of different ammo, all that sort of stuff. So just make sure you take your time and you pick the right magazine for you. Now, when it comes to magazines, I definitely recommend a minimum of 6, and if you can take an extra 2, it will help you out depending on what else you are carrying. However, weight doesn't seem to be too much of an issue in this game, or at least on this server. Always remember as well to take a sidearm. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, why would I take a sidearm? I'm never going to use it. Never say never. It's always good to actually have a sidearm with you, and again, we want to make sure we get the right magazines for it. Now, if you are more of a sort of assault-based player and you want to get stuck in and hit the enemy logistics, you might want to take a launcher as well. And I definitely recommend the Law because it is nice and simple, one-time use, and it is very, very light. The Gustav is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it's got reuse ability, so it is a decent bit of kit. However, it is pretty big on your back. And again, when you start adding more magazines and then you start adding all your kit, medical stuff, you're going to get this and the extra ammunition. You are going to be weighed down then, and it's the same with the Mark 153 Mod 2. But again, if you do take this stuff, just make sure that you actually carry the extra equipment if you need it, or the extra shells and rockets if you need it. So going on to sights, there are certain modded weapons that you can fit sights to, so you've got a big variety. I mean, you've even got this pink one, which some of you might fancy, but we've got a big variety. So let's do like a basic sort of loadout just so we can sort of demonstrate it for you and give you a bit of an idea on what to do. So let's just say we get, I don't know, this M4A1 Block 2. So what I can do here is right click, and that's going to get rid of my M40, and then we're going to just drag and drop this on. Nice basic sort of setup. Now let's say I want to put a sight system on this. We can drag and drop it into our daysack. Just get rid of that spare helmet for now. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, I need to get this sight on. So how do I actually do it? Now we're going to tap and hold R. So we're going to get this sort of menu up. And all we need to do is find where to attach it. And as you can see here, attach Night Force 8R or attack EOTech. Let's attach the EOTech. And there we go. We've attached our sight system, but it's a little bit off, isn't it? Because we've got the actual iron sights on there. Now, certain weapon systems, you can actually take down the iron sights. You can take down the rear one because it's a flip sight on this one, and some of the others actually have the flip front sights as well, so you can set them down. But once we've done that, the weapon is far better, even though we've sort of got that front iron sight just sort of getting in the way. But you can customize your weapon a little bit. You can add all sorts of attachments, suppressors, IR lasers, PEC boxes, all that sort of stuff, and obviously sights as well. So it's worth just playing around and finding what works for you. Now, when it comes to all this sort of stuff, especially if you're doing the M40 and a bit of a sniper role, I actually do take a spare sight with me. And again, if you are rocking the EOTech holographic, it's definitely worth also having something like an ACOG in your daysack as well, just so you can switch to that sight if you need it. Now, when it comes to actual pyrotechnics, I always take around 2 to 3 M67 fragmentation grenades, a couple of stun grenades, and obviously you've got a variety of smoke. We can use green smoke just to mark a position if a healer's coming in to pick us up. And then we've got different smokes for different sort of situations as well, with our traditional normal white smoke. Now, stun grenades, some people probably think, why would you take stun grenades? Believe it or not, they're very effective on these servers. So I've actually breached a room, putting a stun grenade in there, and it's fully blinded and slowed down the occupant within that room, where the player just cannot move and react. So they are pretty decent bits of kit, and obviously the M67 speaks for itself. And then on the bottom tab here, we've actually got demolition blocks, as well as the connecting blasting machine, so you can have a command det, or you can actually have a time det, and then we've just got AT and all that sort of stuff, and mine markers. Now with these, if you're thinking I have no idea how to use these, I'll quickly demonstrate it as safely as I can. So we're going to drag and drop it onto one of these little bottom bars. I'm going to then click 9, and let's say I want to, probably can't put it down here, can I? Let's say I want to put it here. Okay, now it's not armed yet. What we can do is go back to our inventory. We'll drag and drop this into 9 as well now, and we'll click 9, and then we can actually arm and connect to M34 blasting machine, which, yeah, pretty cool idea. It's a little bit slow, a little bit monotonous, but it does work, and obviously you can pick it up as well. Now let's say we're starting to get pretty happy with the weapon systems that we're taking, so we are very happy. We're going to head over to the equipment now. Now your equipment, this is a very key one. As you can see here, the helmet I've got, I can't actually mount an NVG on it, so only use that helmet as of when. I only use it when I'm doing my sniper stuff, and I'll switch to the Ops Core helmets when I need to attach night vision and for nighttime sort of stuff. So let's have a quick look at the different helmets. So we've got all these different helmets. Let's just put that on for now. And then if we go back all the way across to here, you have also got the balaclavas that if we drag and drop that over the helmet, it will mark you just like that. So it's pretty cool little system. Now the night vision, again, very similar sort of mechanic. You can put it in your day sack and then drag and drop it onto your helmet, and that is you good to go. All you need to do is then click N and your night vision will come down. Just remember, I always tend to take my night vision off when it's daytime, just so that big sort of unit isn't sticking up above my helmet, because it might give you away. Now, as you go through these tabs, you're going to see different equipment, such as your actual day sacks, and we've got all our different uniforms and all that sort of stuff. We've also got different plate carriers, vests, plate armor, all that sort of good stuff. Okay, now with maps like this, I always tend to have something like this, a little bit darker, something that blends into the environment just a little bit better than having that coyote or sort of tanned uniform. And then we've got boots as well. You've also got this, which is your main equipment sort of menu. So you need to make sure you've got a compass, a map, obviously a torch if you're that way inclined, the watch, which will give you your cardinal points, such as your north, east, south and west. We've got a shovel, so we can actually build things and help to build things. So it's very important to take a shovel with you, and that works the same way as the det charge. So you're just going to drag and drop it onto one of these command sort of buttons and pull it out, and you'll be able to help build and dig things. The actual radio system as well, you're going to drag and drop that into your AVS or your chest rig, and then you'll be able to use that to connect to the company net as well as your squad or team-based net. And then we've just got patches and all that sort of cool stuff, and just something a little bit random and unique, really. Now, one really interesting thing is the Vector 21s, and we're going to actually speak about them really, really quick, even though it's getting dark. So with the Vector 21s, you pull them out, you've essentially got a pair of binos. However, if you click and hold R, it will actually give you a range. So they are actually laser range finders. Now, this is very beneficial if you are sighting in on a target or you're about to hit a position. It is very, very good and a decent bit of kit. So make sure you hold R just to find your range. So we've gone through all that. Now the next most important thing is medical supplies. Now I take around 4 FFDs or bandages, at least 2 tourniquets and 1 morphine injector. You can also take solution, which will help you if you've lost a lot of blood. And the medical kits are generally for the combat medics in the game, so they can dish out bandages and actually help other players. Very good bit of kit. Just make sure that you actually do the same thing as we did earlier, where we drag and drop our bandages onto one of these sort of command keys. Okay, it'll make things a lot easier. And the way you're going to use it on yourself is you're going to click that key. You're going to see this in your hand, and all you're going to do is click the key that you need to, which is R for me, generally. Okay, you can also apply a bandage to other players, so make sure you help everyone out as best you can. Now, when you're on this sort of board, you're probably thinking, well, what if I die? I'm going to have to do all this again. You're not. So all you need to do is save loadout, and then whenever you die, you will come back in with this loadout, and you'll be able to select that in future matches as well, unless there is a full reset on the server or huge patch updates. So it's definitely worth doing. It's going to save you a lot of time. Next up, you're thinking, well, do you know what? I don't want to do running simulator, so how do I actually get a vehicle, etc. So in this game mode, you actually need resources to get vehicles and build things. So if we move over to this sort of construction here, you're going to see this request vehicle. Now there are two of these. One of them will produce the large transport vehicles, and one of them will produce the more patrol-based vehicles. So if we click F, we can have a quick look at these. And as you can see, we've got quite a list. Some of them require you to rank up on the server to get. Others you can get straight away. So let's say I want this Humvee. We're going to get this sort of marker, and we can place it down where we want. We can also rotate it. If you see on the left there, you've got different command keys you can use to rotate it, just in case you want to make it a little bit easier to actually drive it out. So all we need to do then is click. So let's say I want it here. We click down, and it spawns the actual vehicle. But we will have used some resources to do that, as you can see. So the supplies available have gone down, and the more supplies we use, the less chance we're going to get stuff like that. So be careful using these and make sure you use them correctly. But these are pretty good bits of kit. Just work the same way as vanilla, more or less. The only one thing I would say is on this ION one, got a nice 8x sight on the top, so pretty. Lastly, let's talk about the map, because when you first join a server, it can seem pretty overwhelming and there is a lot going on. Now, do not worry about it too much. We're going to go through each marker just to give you a basic idea. So, the green markers, when you first join a server, they are pretty prominent because they spawn AI, and they can be AI controlled sort of areas. Now that's designed to delay people just swinging all the way through the map and capturing certain objectives straight away. It just delays that initial conflict with the opposition force. So in this case, the blue represents the blue 4, which is who I'm playing for, so NATO, and the red represents the Op4. Now, the opponent force in this situation is Russia, as it is with most of the servers on Reforger, and we want to capture as many different points as we can. Now, as you can see, the blue 4 actually have quite a lot of the key objectives, these sort of markers here, like main bases or forward operating bases. And we also have radio towers as well, which are sort of just as important because they help connect yourself to different fobs, etc. We can also see that each one has a different amount of supplies. Now, depending on how many supplies one has, it sort of depends if you can spawn there, like this one. So we wouldn't be able to spawn at main, okay? We wouldn't be able to use any vehicles there, etc. But if we wanted to spawn at Indiana, we'd be able to spawn there and get a vehicle. So it is pretty good, and you need to just look at supplies before you spawn somewhere, because you don't want to spawn there and find out you can't get a vehicle. You're all the way close to the main HQ, and it's going to take you 30 minutes to actually get into a fight. Alright, so when a position is getting taken, it's going to look like this. Now, in this case, we control Mississippi, but the Russians are currently on site capturing it. Okay, if it goes back to a solid colour, if it goes back to blue, that means we've defeated any Op4 on site. If it goes to red, it means the Op4 have actually captured the position. Okay, all these other markers are players around the actual map as well, so it's always good to have a look at your map and see how many players are actually on a position and who can support you. Alright, and you can do the same with trying to identify roughly how many enemy would be on a position, because we know that this position is getting captured. Minnesota might be a little bit more exposed, or California could be a little bit more exposed at this time. Alright, and it's also good to try and identify friendly helos as well. Now, the grey markers like this, so this grey marker here, signify a player who's been either downed or killed. Okay, now downed We know he's downed because he's still grey, and potentially he could get back up and be blue. Once he completely disappears, we know that he's actually dead, and there you go. So that was a Hilo, went down, crashed, dead. Alright, and that is basics with the map. You do have some tools on the left here which are pretty useful, such as the ruler system, so you can actually judge distance, and it is a good bit of kit to have. We're not going to go through this in this video, but again, you do have that there to judge a distance, and obviously this representing in meters. And then we have a few other things that are pretty useful, but this one at the bottom, if you need to find yourself, you can just click that and it'll take you straight to where you are, and you are always identified with this red circle going around you. This line here signifies the direction that you are looking. And that is about it for a very, very basic video. I know that is turbo basic for you. There is a few other bits we're just going to quickly cover. So this one is very useful. If we hold shift and use our middle mouse button, we can brighten up or darken down our night vision. That is pretty decent. However, again, depends what you set your custom keys to. If we want to lower our weapons, we're like this, and we want to actually lower it, we can just tap shift as well, and it will lower the weapon. If we hold alt, we can maneuver our head around and get a bit better situational awareness. Alright. Don't be afraid to use the radio and call in a Hilo when you need it as well. Alright. Now that's just the basics. Obviously, jump on a server, give it a try and work together, work as a team. Hopefully this just gave you a good bit of insight and helped you all get started. Like I said, turbo basic. If you like this sort of video, remember, hit a sub, drop a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next.